So I've been investing in the market for just over 4 years now, and one thing I've realized is that investing is actually way simpler than people make it seem like it is online. Social media makes it seem like you need to know everything about stocks, crypto, charts, and all the advanced stuff just to get started. And honestly, I think that confusion alone is what stops a lot of people from ever investing their money. They're scared of losing money, scared of doing the wrong thing, or they just don't know where to start overall. So if I had to start over from complete scratch starting today, knowing what I know now from my years of experience, this is exactly what I would do. What's up, y'all? My name is Ruben, and this is Eternal Assets, where I'll talk any and everything financial literacy. In today's video, I want to break down exactly how I would start investing as a beginner in 2026 if I were starting from absolute zero. Now, the very first thing I would do is not focus on getting rich quick. And honestly, I think this is where social media has completely changed people's expectations around investing. Because online, you'll see people talking about turning a few $100s into thousands overnight, making crazy options trades, flipping crypto, or finding the next stock that's going to go to the moon. And don't get me wrong, every once in a while, there are people out there who make money doing those things, but what social media usually doesn't show you is all the people who lost money trying to do the exact same thing. So if I was starting over today, I wouldn't even go into investing thinking with the mindset that I'm going to get rich overnight. Instead, I go into it thinking with the mindset that I'm going to be building wealth slowly and consistently over time. Now, moving on, the next thing I would do before I started investing heavily is make sure that beforehand I at least have some sort of emergency fund built up first. And this is something else that I think gets overlooked a lot online, because everybody talks about investing, but nobody talks about what happens when life unexpectedly hits you. Say your car breaks down, you lose your job, or unexpected bills pop up. Things tend to happen. So if you're investing every single dollar you have with absolutely no safety net, there's a good chance that eventually you're going to have to pull some money back out when an emergency actually does happen. That's exactly why personally I think having money sitting somewhere in something like a high yield savings account first makes a lot of sense. Not because it's going to make you rich overnight, but because it gives you stability when you're investing. It gives you some breathing room, and honestly, it makes investing a lot less stressful because you know that you already have some money set aside in case of emergencies. Okay, so now let's say you have some money set aside in case of an emergency. Now you actually need to pick a brokerage and open up an account. And if you don't know exactly what a brokerage is, it's basically the platform or the app that you're going to actually use to buy investments like stocks or ETFs. So think of it simply as something like your investing account. And because there are a lot of good brokerages out there, there's no one magical perfect answer that suddenly makes you the perfect investor. The biggest thing is just finding one that feels simple and comfortable for you when you actually start using it. Now, some brokerages do have certain fees or advanced features that are attached to them, but if you're just getting started, I honestly think that it makes more sense to go with one of the ones that are more beginner friendly. Also, because usually the more beginner friendly ones are completely free to use. Now, personally, my go-to brokerage for the past 3 years has been Webull, and it still is the one that I currently use myself. But before that, I actually started investing on Robinhood, which is another really popular beginner friendly option. And honestly, both of them are pretty good options in my opinion, and they make it really easy to buy things like stocks, ETFs, and overall just get you comfortable with investing in the beginning. But again, there are a lot of solid options out there. Some people use Fidelity, some people use Charles Schwab, and some even use Vanguard. There's no one perfect answer, but the important part is making sure that you're not spending 6 months trying to pick the perfect brokerage instead of actually just getting started. Now, once I had some money set aside and my brokerage account was all ready to go, this is where I actually start investing my money. And if I had to start from scratch today, I would keep things extremely simple. I would not try to become some expert stock picker overnight, but instead I would start with ETFs. And if you don't know what an ETF is, the easiest way to think about it is basically think of a collection of stocks all bundled together in one investment. So instead of investing in one company and hoping that it does really well, you're investing into multiple companies all at once. And that's exactly why I think ETFs are so popular among beginners, because they instantly give you a lot of diversification. Diversification is simply just a stock or investing term for not putting all your eggs into one basket. For example, something like the S&P 500 tracks 500 of the largest companies in the United States. So instead of trying to figure out whether Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, or Microsoft is the best investment for you individually, you can invest into a fund that already holds all of them together. And if I were starting over today, that's probably exactly where I would start. Something that's extremely simple. It's really easy to massively overcomplicate things when it comes to investing. You do not need some crazy portfolio with 37 different stocks that you're picking all individually, when you're first getting started especially. Now, we're already doing pretty good, but the next thing that I focus on is investing consistently. One of the biggest mistakes I think a lot of people make is thinking that you need to start off with thousands of dollars before you start investing. It's that mindset alone that stops a lot of people from starting their investing journey for years. But the truth is that consistency matters way more than trying to start off with a huge amount all at once. For example, let's say there's somebody who starts to invest $100 every single month. That might not sound like a life-changing amount of money immediately, but over time, consistently investing month after month with that amount will really start to add up. And this is where something called compound growth starts doing a lot of the heavy lifting. Your money starts making money, and then that money starts making money too. And over long periods of time, that can really start to become really powerful. That's why if I were starting over, I focus a lot less on trying to perfectly time the market, but more on simply actually investing consistently over time. All right, so this next part is also really important, and that's that if I were starting over today, I would make sure that I am not checking my investments every 5 seconds. Because the problem starts to become, if you constantly stare at your portfolio every single day, you start overreacting emotionally to every single movement in the market. One bad day in the market and people start panicking, one good day in the market and then suddenly people think they're investment geniuses. But you have to remember that investing is long term. The stock market naturally is always going to go up, but then it's always going to come back down. That's just honestly the normal movement of the stock market. Everybody wants to see instant results, but investing is usually very boring because it's consistency, it's patience, and it's time. That's one tip that I really wish that I would have known when I was first getting started. So at the end of the day, those are a few really good tips that I wish I would have known if I were completely starting from right now in 2026. If I would have known some of these things ahead of time back 4 years ago when I started, it probably would have saved me a lot of stress. But listen, that's pretty much everything. So if this video helped you out, please make sure to hit that like button because it really helps out the channel. And if you want more videos on investing, building credit, saving, and overall just financial literacy, please consider subscribing. And let me know down in the comments because I'm curious, what's something that stopped you from investing? I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.